started discussing about hydrohalogenation, which is addition of HX on alkene. So on alkene, one thing we can say that if you have any particular type of an alkene and you add HX to this, it will first form a carbocation, which is a more stable carbocation. That would be a slow reaction. Then it gets rearranged, and finally a nucleophile will attack, and that's how we will get this. Okay. See, nucleophilic attack, if you check out the stereo part of it, stereochemistry, the attack can happen from both the directions. Hence, I can say that it is non-stereo specific. Non-stereo specific. Okay. So attack can happen from both the ends. So hence it is non-stereo specific. Since it is non-stereo specific, you might end up getting racemic mixtures. So product usually we will get as racemic mixtures. So this is one thing we need to take care while we are making the products. So just to remind you, suppose if there are any groups which are strongly stabilizing the carbocation, it would always form on that particular side. Suppose if this is the case given with HBr being added, we will first add at hydrogen to be added at this terminal carbon, and carbocation will form here, which is at a very stable position. Then Br minus will attack on it. So finally we will get bromine being added here this way. So this type of an addition reaction takes place. Okay, so everywhere we need to check out that addition will always happen by stabilizing the carbocation. Okay, so here one small thing, small detail which we can say that if you see CH2 here, the modern way of analyzing is stability of carbocation. When there was not much of an idea about stability of carbocation, then there was a simple rule which used to be set to decide, how this has been happening, and that is known as Markovnikov's addition. Markovnikov's rule, which tells us what is Markovnikov's addition. So basically, H plus is always going to add on the rich carbon side, okay, in an unsymmetrical alkene, and thereby the carbocation will always form at the poor carbon or poor hydrogen rich, poor hydrogen containing carbon. So this is Markovnikov's rule. So if it happens on the other side, like if we get a carbocation this way, CH2, sorry, CH here, yeah, CH2 with plus charge here, then we say this is following anti-Markovnikov's addition. Usually, as long as there is a carbocation present, it will always follow Markovnikov's addition rule only. It does not go for anti-Markovnikov's addition. But there are few cases where anti-Markovnikov will happen, which is the free radical mechanism of HBr addition. So this is a very specific mechanism and it is only valid for HBr. This will follow anti-Markovnikov's addition. It has another name known as Kharash effect, or also known as peroxide effect. Suppose when we take an unsymmetrical alkene like CH3 double bond CH2 and treat that with HBr, okay, in the presence of any peroxy group. So for instance, if you have PH C double bond O, there is O O C double bond O PH. We call this as benzoyl peroxide. benzoyl peroxide. So it has a OO, which is a peroxy bond here. Peroxy bonds are very weak because they would possess a lot of lone pair repulsions. So hence the product you will get is CH3, CH2, CH2Br. So it is following an anti-Markovnikov's addition. If you see the mechanism, the peroxy group which is there, which is R, O, O, R, okay, on heating would easily dissociate into radicals. And this is the initiation step. The radical, whatever the radical that has formed, will react with HBr and it will form ROH plus Br dot. And this Br dot is something which will react with the reactant which we have taken, the alkene which we have taken. So Br dot will try to get added up. When Br is getting added, the pi bond will homolytically cleave. And Br will be, we learned that Br is very selective in terms of addition. So it will add to that position which will bring more stable radical. So you can see the secondary radical is more stable compared to that of primary radical. So addition would happen here, okay. And the other case what we might expect, that CHBr and CH2 dot. We learned that Br is highly selective, so this won't form, only this radical would form, okay. And once you get this radical CH3 CH dot CH2Br, that again on reaction with HBr, here this HBr will undergo homolytic fission and we will get this as CH3 CH2 CH2Br plus Br dot. So eventually you can see this carbon has got hydrogen now, so which shows that it is following actually an anti-Markovnikov's addition, okay. And this effect is observed only with HBr and nothing else. Why this is happening? If you see the first reaction in the propagation step, that is X dot plus CH3 CH double bond CH2 here, which is forming CH3 CH dot with CH2X. This is first reaction. Second reaction that has happened is this radical CH3 CH dot CH2X. This has again been treated with HX. On doing that, we got this as CH3 CH CH2 and CH2X plus X dot. Now if you see the first step and second step with different halides, for example if you take chlorine, bromine and iodine, and I analyze the first step and second step, so experimentally it has been found this is around minus 26 kilocalories plus 5, while minus 5 kilocalories and minus 11, this is plus 7 and minus 27. So you can see chlorine and iodine has at least one step which is endothermic, okay. So one of the propagation step in chlorine and iodine is endothermic. So that reaction does not proceed either at the first reaction or the second reaction, okay. So therefore HCl Hi even in peroxide will give Markovnikov's addition only. Markovnikov's addition only. So only HBr will give you anti-Markovnikov's addition. Okay, beta. So therefore, if you have double bond this way and you react that with HCl in the presence of R2O2, then you will get this as CH3 CH Cl CH3, which is by following Markovnikov's addition rule only. Okay. So even in that case, it will always get Markovnikov's addition only. I hope you understood that, beta. Suppose there are other, if you see other radical addition reactions. First one, if you have CH3, CH double bond, CH2, and I treat that with, okay, ICF3, ICF3 in the presence of H nu or heat. Okay, here you would have I being coming here and CF3 forming here. Okay, so in this case, this CF3 is taking the role of bromine, role of Br dot, and here this I is taking the role of hydrogen, role of H dot. I hope that is clear, right? Next, similar to that, if you see another case where we have an alkene reacted with CCl4 in the presence of R2O2 and heat. Here also you will see one chlorine get added here and CCl3. Same way, this is playing the role of bromine and this is playing the role of hydrogen. Okay, so I'm not writing the mechanism, I'm just hoping that you know what is happening there. Okay, same way, if at all I have CHCl3, see the mechanism is going exactly the same way how anti-Markovnikov happened above this one. These are the same steps which are following here also. Just imagine Br in the place of CCl3 in the place of bromine addition and chlorine in the place of hydrogen addition. That's all. The third case here, if you check it out, here you can see the addition would happen something like this, where H is getting added here and CCl3 getting added here. Okay, so the rule is same. So this is how the addition reactions take place. I guess this point is clear. Right. So what we have discussed is about hydrohalogenation, okay, on double bonds. So it would follow Markovnikov's and anti-Markovnikov's addition reactions. Now what we will see is an addition of water. So basically this time we are making hydration. So this is addition of H2O, also known as hydration step on alkenes or hydration of alkenes. So here it is always going to follow Markovnikov's addition. So Markovnikov's addition only, got it? And product, if you check out, they would usually give racemic mixture only. Okay. So basically what is happening, if you have an alkene and I treat that with H3O plus. H3O plus can also be written in the form of this H plus in the presence of H2O. Both of them are one and the same. On addition, you will get an alcohol following Markovnikov's addition. If you see the mechanism, in the presence of an acidic medium, we know that pi bond will always attack on the electrophile and try to become a carbocation, and we learned that this is the slow step reaction. So once that happens, rearrangement will take place. After rearrangement, water as a nucleophile will attack on this position. So we will get this as OH2 plus. Okay. So this is a charged species. So it will release out H plus and will become OH because it is an acidic solution only. So that H plus is removed. So this H plus is acting like a catalyst. So it is acid catalyzed addition reaction. So it is an acid catalyzed, okay, electrophilic addition. Okay, so if you check out the reaction progress, how it is happening, So from the first step, if you check out, suppose if this is the reactant where it is, from here it reached to a transition state. From there it will form a carbocation. From carbocation you might see certain stabilities in the carbocation. I told you the other day also, it might become more stable. From more stable, finally it will reach to, okay, it reach to a state where it is, formation of alcohol. Okay, so this is how you will get, and this is the carbocation, first carbocation formation. This is the transition state. So the rate depends upon how is the first carbocation formation. We have done a similar examples that way. I hope that should help you. Now if you have any alkene, for example, I'm taking few examples here. So if you react that with dilute H2SO4, dilute H2SO4 itself meaning that there is an H plus present in the water form. So first it would undergo electrophilic addition and reach to a stable carbocation, which is this position. So this is the carbocation by electrophilic addition. Then water will get added on here, okay, and I would get OH2 plus after removal of H plus. The step of removal of H plus is always called as deprotonation. So it will undergo deprotonation and finally we will get alcohol. Okay. Same thing you can analyze for double bond anywhere here. Suppose if you have this way and H plus is given, which means first H plus is getting added by Markovnikov's addition, carbocation will form, and we know that it is a 5-membered ring here, so ring expansion can take place and it will become 6-membered ring with this and carbocation here, which will further rearrange to more stable carbocation. Sorry, to write the 6-membered ring. So it would form a 6-membered ring with carbocation here, and which will further go for ring stabilization of carbocation and get to this point, after which on addition of water we will get an alcohol here. This way we will get an alcohol. Okay, beta. Rest of the cases, just like how we have done earlier with hydrohalogenation, similar type of questions can be followed for hydration also. So for instance, if you have pH, CH double bond, CH, CH3 and dilute H2SO4 is given. So one thing you need to check out, which is a more stable carbocation. Here it can form more stable carbocation, right? So after that addition of water will take place. So you can see it is pH, CH, C2H5 and OH. Like you can see, this is a chiral center, okay, but because there is a formation of a carbocation, the product will always be racemic mixture. So this is racemic mixture. So these type of questions you must be able to address very easily. Now the same application, just like hydrohalogenation, just like hydration, we can also have addition of alcohols, ROH. Okay. Again, this is also acid catalyzed. The it is going to select the region by Markovnikov's addition. The product formation will also be racemic. So these are the bit synopsis. So if you see there is a double bond and you treat that with ROH in acidic medium, it will form OR, which is ether. So we will get ether as the product. Same mechanism. So I'm just directly going through some questions. So I'm not writing the mechanism again. Suppose if you have a double bond formation here and you are treating that with ROH, the presence of H plus. So first you will get a carbocation formation here. Then on this carbocation you are adding ROH. So we will get OR formation here. Okay, beta. So this is how you will get it. Now, this is about how the reaction happens by electrophilic addition. So far, whatever we have seen. Okay. Now, when it comes to hydration, especially hydration, or we are adding ROH, that is called alco alcohol lysis. Correct. Correct. Just like solvolysis, it is also called alcolysis or solvation, which we call it as solvolysis. So it is about addition of H2O or addition of ROH. Correct. Now these two reactions can be seen by a double bond, right, with different reagents. So what are those reagents? We are trying to understand that. Suppose when you have an alkene, okay, alkene. So there are three ways we can get the alcohol formation, three reagents basically. One by directly H3O plus, the other one by something called OMDM, oxymercuration demercuration, and third is by HBO reaction, hydroboration oxidation. Okay, so these reactions would again be repeated in alcohols, so we'll learn everything here itself. First one will follow Markovnikov's, we just learned that. Okay, there is a carbocation rearrangement which will happen. Okay, and product would be racemic, so it is non stereo specific. So OMDM also follows Markovnikov's, but no carbocation rearrangement. This is the best thing we need to learn. So here there is no carbocation rearrangement. Next, here there is only one product forming. Right? So there are no multiple products forming here. Okay, and it is it is stereo specific. It is stereo specific, but only first step. Okay, so that is oxymercuration is stereo specific, not demercuration. Next, sorry, my mistake, not oxymercuration, first demercuration. Demercuration is stereo specific. Next, in the case of HBO, you will see anti-Markovnikov's addition. Obviously, there is no carbocation formation itself. If there is no formation, right, no rearrangement, and okay, it is a uh, syn stereospecific. It is a syn stereospecific reaction. Now, anyways, we have seen the first case, which is H3O plus. Let us learn about the next two, which is oxymercuration. Okay, oxymercuration demercuration. Then we learn about HBO, OMDM, which is oxymercuration demercuration. Okay. First, let me write the overall reaction. Suppose if you have a group this way, I'll take directly a best example. Suppose if you have it this way, and I treat that with OMDM, then I will get an alcohol forming at the secondary position. This is what you will get. Okay. Now in this, OH is forming here, H is coming on this side. Okay. This H comes from water. This H usually comes from water. Okay. And sorry, my mistake. This H comes from water, from H2O, and this H comes from NaBH4. This comes from NaBH4. Now what is this OMDM, oxymercuration demercuration? The reagent is HgOAc twice, okay, acetate salt, okay, mercury acetate salt, and this is OM, that is mercuration, plus NaBH4, which is demercuration, okay, sodium boron hydride. How does the mechanism takes place? Let us focus on that now. So in oxymercuration, demercuration, you see the mechanism. First Hg, it is in this form, and as soon as you add water, it would dissociate into Hg plus OAC plus ACO minus. Let's put it this way. I'm sure you know what is AC. AC is CH3 COO, sorry, CH3 C double bond O. This is acetyl group. So you can see we have generated an electrophile, and as soon as we have an electrophile, alkene will attack on that. So this is the alkene which will attack on electrophile here. So here the electrophile is HgOAC twice, HgOAC plus. So the pi would attack on this. As soon as it attacks here, this is a slow step. We know that electrophilic addition is always slow step. So what we would get here is that this mercury, which is taking the electrons, at the same time it will donate the electrons to the other carbon. Thereby it is going to form a bridge like this. This is the bridge which is forming. So it is forming a cyclic mercurium ion. Okay. So once it get a cyclic mercurium ion formation, now H2O will attack on that. So this H2O will attack here, right? Now see, H2O will always attack on that particular carbon which has more amount of carbocation stability. Although there is no carbocation here, but because of this charge, delta positive will be generated on both the carbons. And you know that delta positive is more stable on this carbon compared to that of primary carbon. So water will always attack on the secondary position here, because that is more stable compared to that of primary carbon. So it would attack here, bond will break on this side. So we will get this as uh, OH2 plus here, and this side will have HgOAC, right, formation. Now please understand this, the breaking happening is on the opposite side of where the water is attacking. So this attack is completely anti-stereospecific. So it will form an anti-stereospecific. So this step is what we call it as oxymercuration step. So like I said, first step, the oxymercuration step is the OM here, oxymercuration step. So oxymercuration step is a stereospecific and it is anti-stereospecific. Okay. Now once you have this, here we can see this is how OH is present and HgOAC is attached this way. This, if you treat with NaBH4, NaBH4 is nothing but Na plus and BH4 minus. So it is a hydride donor. It would attack on this carbon by giving away this H minus to this, thereby removing this HgOAC. So what we will have here is HgC. In this case, we will have is uh, this group where we have OH here and H here, correct? And mercury is gaining electrons, so it will gain and becomes a precipitate, and OAC, which is nothing but CH3 C double bond O minus will come out of it. Okay, and it is going to get combined with the sodium which was treated. So you will get a sodium salt like this. Okay, you can see the alcohol which is formed is on the secondary carbon. Okay beta, and because of this bridge formation there is no carbocation formation, no C plus rearrangement, no carbocation rearrangement observed. Okay, but if you see hydrogen, it is still adding, whether it is H plus or H minus, finally hydrogen has been added on the terminal carbon, so therefore it is following Markovnikov's addition. Okay, I guess this point is clear how the addition is done. We need to be careful about what type of a reagent is given. Sometimes the deuterium part is given and we need to understand what should be the product formation. Like I told you earlier, where is the H plus coming from and where is the water coming from. Okay. So let me take this 4 cases. In 4 different cases we will take different combinations. First we will take HgOAc twice with D2O and NaBH4. Second, HgOAc twice, okay, with H2O and NaBD4. First here HgOAc twice, CH3OH, and here NaBH4, and first HgOAc twice, CH3OD and NaBD4. Okay, so if we check all of these 4 cases, first case, like I told you, where is this H plus coming from? H is coming from, if you observe, this comes from NaBH4, okay, and this comes from water. Hmm? So here water part is actually D2O, so the product will be OD here and H is being added here, so this will be the product. Is it making sense beta? कोई doubt है product में? Next, in this case if you check it out, here we will get OH here and D here. In this case, now instead of water it is OCH3 which is getting added, and here it is H, and finally if you check out here it is OCH3, does not matter whether it is D or not, but here it is adding D. Got that beta? So this is something you need to know. Sometimes the molecule has an internal alcohol itself, so then how does the addition happens is what you need to check. Suppose if you have a reactant this way where there is an OH here itself or double bond either, and if I react that with HgOAc twice, got it, second NaBH4, अल्कोहल तो इंटरनली है, सो देयरफॉर फर्स्ट आपको ब्रिज बनेगा. So I'll just show one part of mechanism here. So first we'll have this OH group here, and यहाँ पे ब्रिज बन रहा है mercury का OAC with plus ऐसे, ठीक है, and OH will attack on the more substituted form here, और ये bond इधर टूट जाएगा. Okay, and so therefore you can see 1 2 3 4 5, a 5-membered ring is formed with oxygen. So we will get something like this. ये 5-membered ring बन जाएगा और बाद में हाइड्रेट ऐड हो जाएगा उसमें, ठीक, ये फाइनल प्रोडक्ट है. ओके, राइट. So this is about oxymercuration, demercuration. The next set of reaction is about hydroboration, oxidation, which we call it as HBO reaction. Let me write the reagent here itself. The reagent is B2H6 in tetrahydrofuran. This is first one, which is hydroboration, which with dehydration I mean sorry, it's oxidation, which is H2O2 in the presence of OH minus. This is oxidation step. So here if you see, it is regio wise, if you see, it is following anti-Markovnikov's anti-Markov addition, and if you see stereo, it is going to give syn addition. It is going to give syn addition. Same example I'll take, which we discussed, this one, and if you react that with HBO, the product what you will get is a primary alcohol. This way, you get this as a primary alcohol. So let us see how the mechanism works here. Okay, so first we have this alkene, okay, which sorry, first we start with B2H6. So B2H6 in tetrahydrofuran, THF. See, basically THF is a solution, tetrahydrofuran is this solution, okay. This is tetrahydrofuran. This when you treat with B2H H6, so one BH oxygen's lone pair will support BH3 and other BH3 will come out. So basically it will produce this electrophile. Okay. So an electrophile is produced this way. Otherwise B2H6 does not usually split out easily. So to generate electrophile we are using tetrahydrofuran. Now from tetrahydrofuran, if you check it out, this double bond will attack on BH3 because it has an empty orbital, so pi will attack on that empty orbital. The minute it attacks on empty orbital, the hydrogen from here will attack here, so it would form a transition state, okay, something like this, where a hydrogen is getting attached from this boron, and this bond is getting attached here and double bond is breaking. So this type of a bond has been formed. So this is a 4-membered cyclic transition state. So this transition state, if you check it out, it is more like a syn addition only. The addition of bromine and addition of hydrogen happening from the same set. So it is actually a syn addition. Okay. So on this addition, we will get this product as hydrogen here and BH2 here, both on the same side. Okay. Like this, if you continue, now this time what happened, there is a hydrogen here and this BH2 is again an empty orbital. Okay. So if you treat that with 2 moles of the same reagent, same reactant here, what we have taken, so it would form a group. It would form a group like this where all hydrogens are shifted on that. So boron here, and this way, this way. So this will become trialkyl boron. Okay, I'll simply write this as R3B. So it will become an trialkyl boron. Now if we check out R3B here, so we have B here and all R groups here. So this step what I have written, this is the step of hydroboration. First one, hydroboration has been done. Now we are doing oxidation. So in oxidation what you can observe is that this boron is connected to 3 R groups here, and then we have O minus, O and H. Where did we generate this? If we just check it out, we took H2O2 and treated that with OH minus. Peroxide is a mild acid, so it would react with OH minus to become H2O and it would become HOO minus. So this is how we are generating this base or nucleophile. Okay. So this is known as hydroperoxide. So we have hydro peroxide ion. So this hydroperoxide ion is an nucleophile which will attack on the empty orbitals of boron. So as soon as it attacks, now we will have R, B and R, another R here. We got a connection here with oxygen, and hydrogen this way. Okay, and boron got negative charge. The minute boron got negative charge, carbon is anyway more electronegative than boron, so this bond will break. Okay, and this bond, as soon as this bond breaks here, it will attack on this oxygen. Okay, as soon as that attacks, OH will leave. The reason for this is two. One, boron is not able to take so much of electron density on it. Second, oxygen bond is very weak. That is the reason why R is migrating. So as R migrates here, we will have this as R, B, R and OR formation here, plus OH minus. Okay. Imagine this happens two more times. So that means two more times if at all I react that with hydrogen peroxide, okay, hydroperoxide ion. So all R will become OR, OR and OR. This way they will become. Okay. Now the OH which has left earlier, that OH will again attack on boron here, got it? And then OR will leave, got it? What do we get here now? We'll get OR minus plus B becoming OH, OR and OR. Okay, and this, if you keep on doing it, we will get 3 moles of it. Another 2 times if you do that, we'll get 3 moles of RO minus, and we will have boron with 3 moles of OH thrice. You can see this is boric acid, so RO minus will take all the hydrogens from it and it will become 3 moles of alcohol, and this would become BO3 3 minus. So that's how you will get the alcohol formation. Let me put what is the R value here. R is this one. Okay, this is the R1, and on which there is an OH formation here. There was H and OH formation. Now let me tell you where this H and OH came from. See, this H came from boron, that is BH3. Okay, this OH, if you observe closely, this oxygen, there are two things which have come from here. Okay, this oxygen is coming from peroxide. This is coming from peroxide. Okay, got it. And this hydrogen, if you check out, this hydrogen is also coming from peroxide, correct? Ion. Yeah. Here we definitely can't distinguish between OH minus coming from solution or that, but usually the OH minus used initially is only to make the peroxide into an ionic form. So the H which is coming is mostly from peroxide. Okay. So given any molecule, you must be able to judge what is the product that is coming. For instance, let me take few examples here. Suppose if we have a double bond this way and it is being treated with B2H6 THF, okay, first, and D2O2 and OH minus this way. Okay, so usually in this case what I can say, hydrogen is definitely coming from B2H6, so hydrogen will get added here and OD will get added here. Okay. So this is one thing you must know, what is being added. So same way, if we have B2D6 THF and then I have D2 H2O2 and OH minus. So you must be able to tell that we will have OH formation here and D formation here. Okay, you can say it is giving a primary amine formation. Okay, so in conclusion, if at all I write the same molecule here, so this is the reagent which we have taken. Suppose if it is reacting with H3O plus, H3O plus, we are getting a tertiary alcohol, this one. If we react that with OMDM, oxymercuration demercuration, then we are getting a secondary alcohol. And if we are reacting with HBO, then we are getting OH. Okay, so this is the final product which we will get. So I guess the hydration part is clear, beta. Okay. Suppose while using dilute H2SO4, if at all we use concentrated H2SO4, so then it will go for addition of concentrated H2SO4. Okay. Now what would happen here? If you take any unsymmetrical alkene, you treat that with concentrated H2SO4. The first step is evident that hydrogen will get added, carbocation will form, and after that it is HSO4 minus which is present will act like a nucleophile and attack here. Very simple, here the source of water is less, so therefore you will have OSO3H. So this is the final product form. Okay. If nothing is mentioned, there is a chance for dimerization also. Okay, so in all of these cases, concentrated H2SO4 when it is given, there is a chance for other product also. That is, suppose if you have H plus here, first you would see formation of carbocation here. On the carbocation, the same source can attack, the pi will attack here and it would make this way sorry, this way, and it gets connected with this like this. Okay, and carbocation is forming here, and this carbocation again will remove that H plus out of it and forms an alkene. I'm playing with balloon. Double bond will form here. Okay, so this is the alkene product formation. I guess this point is clear, beta. So remember that if nothing is mentioned, just H plus is mentioned, okay, like this. So you should always go for dimerization, because nucleophile is not mentioned, which means nucleophile is not mentioned, which means the reactant itself will act like a nucleophile and make this reaction happen. Let me give one more example here. Suppose if you have a double bond here and H plus is been given, so आपको immediately सोचना चाहिए कि यहाँ पे dimerization ही हो रहा है, so you will get this product. This one, this is the double bond formation which you will see. That's it. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, just like what we have added H plus and water HX, okay, ROH, like that we have few specific reagents, okay, where instead of H plus there might be Cl plus, there might be Br plus, and so on. Like that we can have these reactions. So few miscellaneous reactions, let me put that here. Okay, for instance, if we have alkene treated with ICl, okay, ICl is given, or sometimes it is given as ICl in the presence of ZnCl2. Both of them meant the same. Between these two, you know that iodine is less electronegative, so that would be acting as an electrophile. Chlorine will act like a nucleophile. Therefore, electrophile will first get added up here, carbocation will form, Cl minus will attack here. So hence you would have final product as Cl and iodine. Similarly, in case if at all I react that with BrCN, Here Br will act like Br plus and Cn will act as Cn minus. So what will be the final product, right? So here you will have Br and Cn will get added here. Suppose if you have NOCl, in NOCl you will always see NO will be plus and Cl will be minus. Okay, alright. Tyndall's reaction, this is known as, but name is not important here. You just need to know what is a nucleophile and what is the electrophile. You can see it is forming N double bond O here and it is forming Cl here. Okay. Similarly, if you have RCl in the presence of AlCl3 like this. Okay. So first in this case you can see RCl plus AlCl3 will form R plus AlCl4 minus. So R plus will add out of AlCl4 minus, again this will split into AlCl3 plus Cl minus. So you can see this is the electrophile and this is the nucleophile form. So I can say here there is R getting combined and here it is Cl getting combined. So in the presence of Lewis acid that would happen. Okay, beta. Okay. Same thing if you have BrCl, Br and Cl, same thing will happen here also. We'll have Br here and Cl here. Okay. So given any reaction you should be able to figure out. Sometimes Lewis acid will also help us make acylation, RC double bond O Cl in the presence of AlCl3. So in the presence of AlCl3, now what would happen here? C double bond O R will get added here and here you will have Cl getting added. Okay, beta. So this is how the reaction will take place. Okay. Now sometimes instead of giving directly reactant and electrophile and nucleophile, it would be given this way, like X2 plus water, H2O. Okay, X2 plus water. That means halide any chlorine, bromine or iodine, Cl2, Br2 or I2, that is being added to water. Okay. So how does the reaction happen here? See, H2O, we will see that HX, when you treat that with H2O, right, it would form HX plus H2O. If you see, it is forming something like this. H, X is there, yeah, sorry, H, O, X and hydrogen. This is how it would be present with H plus. Okay. So this type of a formation is being seen. Got it? Some books directly write it as like OH minus and uh, X plus. ये directly ऐसे नहीं मिलता है, but you imagine it this way, okay? कि water और X plus बन जाएगा. So which means if you have alkene reacted with X2 in the presence of H2O, something like this has been added here. So we got to be clear that first यहाँ पर H2O जो ऐड हो रहा है, यहाँ पे ऐसा मॉलिक्यूल है OH and X, ऐसा फॉर्म होके बैठा हुआ है. ठीक है. So as soon as this pi attacks, the pi would attack on this X. So oxygen will take away its electrons. So therefore X would come here and then water will get added here. And since the solution is acidic, this H plus will come out and finally we will have OH and X. So in short way you can always see that whenever it is given like chlorine water Cl2H2O, short way of remembering is chlorine will become Cl plus and water will give OH minus, but literally it won't be present like this in the solution, but it is short way of remembering that chlorine will come here and OH will come here. Is this clear, beta? Right. So this is about bromine halogenation, halogens in water. Okay. So far whatever we have discussed is all about electrophilic addition where we have OH or halogen been added. Now let us see something called hydroxylation. Hydroxylation. So hydroxylation reactions is more about when you have an alkene, C double bond C, and we are converting that into two OH groups this way, OH and OH this way. Okay, right? So this would happen in two different reactions here. Got it? So one is by Bayer's reagent, which will go for syn addition. One is by anti. So first, let me start with syn hydroxylation. Syn hydroxylation. The best reagent used for that is by using Bayer's reagent. What is Bayer's reagent? It is highly conditional thing, which is cold plus dilute plus uh, aqueous plus 1% alkaline, okay, KMnO4. Got it? So this much conditional it is. It has to be cold, it has to be dilute. Got it? When it's cold, it is around 0 degrees centigrade. Okay. So cold, dilute, aqueous, 1% alkaline, KMnO4. If you take, then this reaction will take place. Okay. Stereo wise, it is highly stereospecific and it will go for syn type of an addition. Okay. So let us see what is the product formation here. So suppose if at all I take methyl here with double bond H and H. So I have taken a cis alkene on which if I react that with MnO4 minus, which is actually purple in color, right? Cold dilute which is in purple in color. On reaction, you will see it would go for an syn addition. You know that it is going for an syn addition. So two OH will form here. So we'll get two OH and OH, H, H, methyl and methyl. Okay. Plus this Mn will convert into MnO2, which is brown color precipitate. So this is the solution will become colorless and manganese will become MnO2. Okay, and that will settle down as a precipitate. Okay, so therefore it is actually making decolorization. One second. Yeah, this decolorization of KMnO4, okay, is used as test for unsaturation. So wherever there is a double bond or a triple bond present, this would happen. Okay. Okay. Well, mechanism is not very important here, so I'm not going through the mechanism, but just I'll put uh, just a thought on it. Suppose if you have a double bond here, okay, Mn, which is double bond O, double bond O, double bond O, and O minus. So you can see that this O minus will attack on this side where this group will attack here. So this pi will move on here, O minus will move on to this side. So this way you will see the movement happens. Okay. So both the oxygens are getting connected from the same side. You can see that they are getting connected from the same side here, O and O here, and then Mn this way, and double bond O and O minus. Yeah. This is the cyclic manganate ester which is formed. Okay, so this on further hydrolysis, got it, so will form OH and OH. Is this clear, beta? So that's how much you need to know. The same syn hydroxylation what we have done with Bayer's reagent, We can do the same thing, okay, with another reagent, and that reagent is OSO4. Okay. So OSO4 in the presence of NHSO3, correct, or H2O, correct. So this will give, or sometimes it is given like this also, OSO4 in the presence of H2O2 and OH, sorry, H2O2 and OH minus. Yeah. Kian. So if you see that, here we have double bond H H. If I take cis alkene and I treat that with OSO4 in the presence of NHSO3, right? If I take cis alkene here, syn addition is happening, so I'll get OH on both sides here, right? And you'll get meso product in this case. Okay. Mechanism is quite similar to what we have seen earlier, correct? So again, I'm not getting into that. Okay, so one thing we have learned earlier also, if I take cis plus syn addition, we will get this as erythro, and trans plus syn addition, if it is happening, we'll get this as 3O, correct? In erythro form, if there is a symmetry, we might get it as a mesoform also, just like what happened in the above case. Okay, beta, I hope syn hydroxylation is clear. Next, you see anti-hydroxylation. This is very important. Anti-hydroxylation is very important, because this is going to come again in ethers also. Okay. So for anti-hydroxylation, we need to use something called peroxy acids. We definitely need to have peroxy acids. And peroxy acid step reaction, first reaction step is what we call as epoxidation. Okay, and this epoxidation followed by hydrolysis, okay, will give us hydroxylation. So it is a two-step reaction. The first step, epoxidation, will take place. Second step, on hydrolysis, we will get hydroxylation. Okay, so how does the reaction proceed here? Basically, if you have any alkene here, suppose if you have a double bond here, so first in the presence of peroxy acid, so peroxy acid, which I'll take MCPBA, okay, MCPBA as in metachloroperoxybenzoic acid. So when you take MCPBA, a peroxy acid, first it would form an epoxide, means like this, an oxide will come, and then on hydrolysis, H2O, right? Now this H2O can be in both acidic medium or a basic medium, that will have a part of discussion. Based on that, you might get a cis product or a trans product. You can see you have OH and OH here, but the final product will always going to be anti-addition product. So it is an anti-addition reaction. So this is the overall reaction. Now let me show you the mechanism how it would happen. See, first of all, let us understand what are peroxy acids. Peroxy acids. Peroxy acids, as in, suppose if you have peroxyformic acid, which means HO and O and H, like this. Okay, this is peroxyacetic acid, CH3COOH. Okay, similarly, if at all I have benzene with COOOH, so this is peroxybenzoic acid. Okay, same way, in case if you have the same peroxybenzoic acid, but at meta position there is chlorine here, and we have C double bond O. O and O and H. So this is read as MCPBA, most used. Okay, so this is peroxybenzoic acid. So basically what is happening, if you take any alkene, for instance, if at all I take, let's say, an alkene like this, if you have an R and R here, okay, and this is been treated with peroxybenzoic acid. In peroxybenzoic acid, what you will observe here, there is an oxygen which has hydrogen on it, and it has a lone pair that is connected to another oxygen which is connected to C double bond O and some R. So this is peroxybenzoic acid. So same thing would happen here. This oxygen, we know that this bond is very weak because it is a peroxy linkage. Okay, so pi would attack on this oxygen. So pi would try to attack on this oxygen, and this oxygen will lose a bond here. But oxygen still has a lone pair, so it will immediately attack back on the carbon here. So you can see a simultaneous step will take place here, where we have R and R here with an oxygen getting connected, and this R C double bond O, OH is forming here. Okay, basically first H will come here. Let me write both the steps, and this will become RCO minus, and this being base, it will extract the proton from here, and we'll get this as R and R with this. So this step where an epoxide is forming, okay, or an ether, a cyclic ether is forming like this is what we call it as epoxide. So this step is called epoxidation step. So first the epoxide has to be formed, right? Now if you see that this oxygen got added from the same side only, so that's why it is a syn addition. So it will go for an syn addition only. Okay, so after syn addition, there are two ways we can hydrolyze. One is acidic hydrolysis, second one is basic hydrolysis. Okay. So for that, I'll take two examples. First, acidic hydrolysis. So let me take an ether which is unsymmetrical, something like this, and this, in the presence of H plus, the lone pair will first extract the proton, and we would have the formation of this. Okay, this epoxide ion will be formed. Now because oxygen getting positive charge, this carbon and this carbon both will develop positive charge, and this carbon which has one methyl group extra on it will be more stable. Okay, more stable as in that will have more charge. So I can say here this carbon can carry more positive charge, more delta positive charge. So therefore when the nucleophile attacks, it will always attack on that carbon where charge can be stored more. So this carbon has more charge, so it will attack here, bond will break towards oxygen. So therefore you would have, you know, OH here, and this OH2 new molecule of water which has added here, then H plus will be removed, and we'll have OH and OH. You see this step will always happen at anti position. So this is always going to be an anti addition. Okay, so epoxidation is a syn addition, but hydrolysis is always anti addition. This is how it would happen in acidic medium. Okay, if it is in basic medium, what is happening, you can see in basic medium same reactant. If at all I take, this is the epoxide which has formed, then OH minus is a OH minus is a base. Yeah, this base is also a strong nucleophile, so it will go for a nucleophilic substitution. So it will attack on carbon which is less substituted, and this O minus will come. This is also an anti addition only. Okay, So therefore we will have this O minus formation here, and here there is an OH group coming. After this we treat with water so that you will get this as OH, and here we are getting OH. So it is an anti-addition so that OH and OH will come. So you can see finally the product is hydroxylation only, but what is happening in the overall reaction here? So you can see first syn addition takes place, then anti-addition is happening. Okay. Suppose if stereochemistry is already mentioned for that, suppose if you get as a, I'll take one example, complete example here. Let's say I have methyl and ethyl here with double bond, right? And what I'm doing, first I'm reacting with MCPBA. You can see this is a cis molecule. I have H and H here, and initially it will go for syn addition. Cis and syn addition will, product we should get, we should get and a erythrokine. Okay, so we'll have methyl here and ethyl here, both should be on the same side. That is what erythro is, correct? So this is how I can write. Okay, I'm not writing hydrogen. In fact, I can show the hydrogens also this way. One H is here and the other H is here. Okay, but I'm not writing that because it might create more confusion. Okay, so this methyl and ethyl are on the same side. Then I have two choices here. Got it? So what I'm doing here, first I'm adding uh, H plus, right? H plus, and then D2O. This is how I'm adding. Okay. Second case, what I'm doing is I'm adding OD minus. Okay, OD minus and H2O. This is how I'm adding. Okay. So in the first case, it is acidic medium. In acidic medium, what would happen? Let's see. So first, I would have this group here with methyl and ethyl here, right? And then H plus get added. So H plus on addition will give you this, right? And then D2O will attack. D2O will attack on that side where delta positive is more stabilizing. So we can see ethyl will donate more, so it will attack on this side. Got it? And this group will move here. Okay. So therefore, you would have molecule with this OH here and methyl here, and this side will have OD and ethyl here. Okay, beta. So this will be the final product here. But if we take the same molecule in basic medium, if we take the same molecule in basic medium, where you have methyl and ethyl here, and it is getting connected by O, and we have OD minus. OD minus will attack on the less substituted carbon, so this is less substituted carbon. O minus will come here, and it will go for, okay, let me write this completely with geometry also, I mean in the Fischer projection also. We'll have OH, OD here, okay, we'll have hydrogen here, methyl and ethyl here. This is what is formed. In this case, we will have this way, you can see methyl here, ethyl here, and this side we have OD, the other side will have OH because water is being added at the end. So you can see we have OD here, H here, OH here, H here, ET here and methyl here. So that's the difference you can see. Okay. So this example should help you understand all the kinds. Okay. Now second thing, see when it comes to this molecule what I have written, क्या ये एक ही आएगा? Because when syn addition has happened here, this syn addition when I have done, I have written only product, but actually you will get racemic mixture. This is racemic mixture, correct? because that methyl and ethyl both could be inside also, no? That is also another possibility. Hmm? So that could possibly happen. I hope you understood that. Yeah. Right. Okay. So this is the first method of uh, peroxy acids for anti-hydroxylation. Second, we can do anti-hydroxylation by Ag2O, Ag2O heat followed by acidic hydrolysis this way. Okay, acidic or basic hydrolysis both will serve the same thing here. So basically, if you treat any cis, for instance, with Ag2O, okay, oxygen will get attached there, okay, and silver will get reduced. Oxygen will come here and silver will get reduced this way. Okay. So again epoxide is formed, and epoxide का hydrolysis आपको पता ही है. So in the presence of H3O plus, we will get one OH on this side, one OH on this side. So we will get an anti-addition. So we will see an anti-addition is happening. So these are the two cases in which anti-addition can take place. I guess this is clear, beta. So hydroxylation part is clear, how the hydroxylation is done, right? Okay. So far whatever we have discussed about alkenes, we have discussed about their main reactions. One last important, in fact one most important reaction which is left is oxidation, okay, oxidation of alkenes, in which important part is about oxidative cleavage. Oxidative cleavage happens by reactions with KMnO4, reactions with O3 and so on. Okay. Instead of directly going through mechanisms, first we'll see problem types. Okay. Then we'll get into mechanism. Okay, beta. So first we'll see problem types. Okay. See, starting with simplest of the alkenes. Suppose if you have CH2, or rather first let me show a general equation, C double bond C, if you have this way, and we treat that with, okay, hot alkaline KMnO4, okay, or we can also treat that with hot KMnO4 and H plus. Acha, hot is hot as in the heat. Okay, I'll just write it as heat, H plus and heat. Okay, in any of this medium, whether it is alkaline medium or an acidic medium with KMnO4, in both the cases you will see the bond breaking will take place here. So this way the bond will break and it would keep on adding oxygens till it would become more stable compound this way. Okay, so there is a cleavage happening. So now this cleavage will lead up to how much oxidation is what we are trying to learn now. See, let me show you how. So first we have CH2 double bond CH2. Okay, so I'm choosing first few examples here. So if I treat that with KMnO4, okay, in acidic medium and heat, let's say, okay, so the cleavage would happen here, and as long as when the cleave happens, the immediate carbon, whatever the hydrogens it has, keep on replacing them with oxygen. So we will have one C double bond O for sure, then introduce one oxygen in that OH here this way. Okay. On doing this, you can see two OH groups cannot be stable and 2 moles of this will be formed. Yeah, two OH groups on carbon cannot be stable, so they will come out as water and it would form carbon dioxide. 2 moles of carbon dioxide. I hope you understood that. Yeah. Same way, suppose if you have this and I treat that with same thing. So here also the cleavage is happening, right? Left hand side, if you see, it is actually CH3 CH double bond O, and right hand side it is O double bond C, H and H. This is how first cleavage is happening. But it won't stop here, it will further oxidize. Okay, one oxygen I have to introduce here and two oxygens I have to introduce here. So therefore it would become CH3 COH and double bond O. Once it has become an acid, it will stay there, it is more stable. Got it? So it would be there itself. But here you can see OC, here there is one OH, here there is one OH. So this will convert back to carbon dioxide. So the final product is this acetic acid plus carbon dioxide. Okay. Same way, suppose if we have a double bond this way, okay, and the same reactant we are using, again cleave here, make a double bond O here, plus single carbon. See the pattern above, wherever there is a single carbon, here also there is a single carbon, above also there are single carbons. After breaking, they always end up becoming carbon dioxide. So this will also become carbon dioxide. And here if you see, there is no more hydrogen which is directly connected to oxygen. Okay, this one, this carbon which is connected to oxygen does not have any hydrogen. So here no further reaction will take place, no oxidation. So final product will be an acetone and an carbon dioxide. Okay, beta. Next, suppose if you have this way double bond and I am treating with same reagent here. Again break here, you will get 2 moles of acetic acid CH3COOH. Okay. Fifth, if you have this way double bond, okay, and break here, so we will have 1 mole of acetone and 1 mole of CH3COOH. Is that clear? Suppose in case if you have this way, we have conjugate double bond and double bond. Okay. Now here first you have to break here and here. Got it? After breaking that, we are getting 2 moles of carbon dioxide and oxalic acid COOH and COOH. But oxalic acid will undergo further oxidation to form another 2 moles of COH. Therefore, the product will be only 4 moles of carbon dioxide. Very important reaction asked in integer type questions. How many moles of carbon dioxide comes out? Are you getting it? Okay. Same way, given suppose if you have a double bond, sorry, I think double bond I have covered all of them. Yeah, all cases we have covered. This last case, suppose if we have a double bond here this way and I treat that with this one, I'll get 2 moles of double bond O here. Okay, so this is what we will get, right? Now in case if at all we look over for since we had discussion about alkanes, let me finish alkynes also here. So alkynes oxidation with KMnO4 H plus and heat. So how does it work here? You see, first let me take again with basic alkynes CH triple bond CH and treat that with same reagent. So first it would form, acid on both the sides here, got it? Because this triple bond, 2 bonds will be broken, the third bond is normally not broken. But in this case again it is forming an oxalic acid, hence here the breaking will take place and finally you will again end up with 2 moles of carbon dioxide only. This is complete oxidation. Okay. Second case, if we have CH3 C triple bond CH reaction. So on the first oxidation you will get CH3 C double bond O C double bond O OH. Okay, but this is one thing you need to understand. If you have a alpha diketones or diacids, alpha diketones, diacid or keto acids, any of these cases again breaking will take place. So you'll get the product as CH3COOH plus CO2. Okay, मतलब डबल बॉन्ड हो या ट्रिपल बॉन्ड हो, रोल ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर है ना. Okay, so that is something you need to understand. Whether it is a double bond or a triple bond, it would go for the same role, and finally you will get carbon dioxide if it is a single carbon, or acid if it is a straight carbon. If it is a two carbons connected, then it will end up at ketones. Okay. Next, usually ketones can undergo further oxidation only under rigorous conditions. Okay, rigorous conditions as in when the heat is been mentioned that it is strongly heated, something like that. Okay, so if we take KMnO4 H plus and heat, and it is mentioned that it is rigorous conditions, then suppose if there is a keto form here, this is how the ketone is formed, right? So ketone under high heat conditions, it will convert into enol forms. So there are two enols I can get. One enol is this one, the other enol is OH with double bond here. These are the two enol forms which I can get. Okay. Now the more stable enol is the second one, more stable, right? Correct. So this is less formed, the more stable enol is always formed, and from the more stable enol, then you'll break the bonds. Okay, so because again think like a double bond only. On double bond breaking, you will get this as CH3COOH of 2 moles. Okay, beta. So therefore, I can say this as when unsymmetrical ketone unsymmetrical ketone undergoes cleavage got it, carbonyl group, that is C double bond O, with smaller alkyl group forms enol and oxidizes, and this is known as Popov's rule. Heard of it? इसी को बोलते हैं Popov's rule. POPOFFS, Popov's rule. कि बेटा हमेशा मोर स्टेबल इनॉल फॉर्म करना, फिर उसको ऑक्सीडाइज कर देना, राइट. Okay, so what we have discussed so far is all about with KMnO4. Okay, now sometimes instead of giving this way with KMnO4, what they will give you, रिएक्शन को ऐसे दे सकते हैं आपको, ऑक्सीडेशन. इट इज़ अ टू स्टेप ऑक्सीडेशन. So two step oxidation as in, suppose if there is any double bond given like this, and first I react that with osmium tetraoxide. Osmium tetraoxide will definitely bring two OH groups here. सॉरी, यहाँ पर कुछ नहीं है, ऐसे टू OH groups आ जाएंगे. Okay, because it will give hydroxylation, right? And once you get hydroxylation, reaction with NaIO4, okay, that is sodium periodate, NaIO4, sodium periodate, or HiO4, दिस इज पर आयोडिक एसिड और पीरियोडिक एसिड, और दिस इज सोडियम per iodate. Either you take salt or an acid. In this case, the cleavage will take place. Okay. So once the cleavage happens, ये बदल जाएगा कीटोन में, right? और जो सिंगल कार्बन है वो बदल जाएगा aldehyde में. That would be the final product here. Are you getting this, beta? So it is a two-step reaction. So suppose अगर मैंने reaction ऐसे दिया है आपको, okay? So there is a double bond here, there is a double bond here, okay? And I'm treating that with OSO4 and NaIO4. तो सबसे पहले आप सारे हाइड्रोक्साइड्स लिख लो. यहाँ पर OH, यहाँ पर भी OH, यहाँ पर OH और यहाँ पर भी OH, चारों आ जाएंगे, करेक्ट. सो देन यू स्टार्ट क्लीविंग देम. यहाँ पे क्लीव हो जाएगा, ये भी विसिनल है, यहाँ पे क्लीव हो जाएगा, ये भी विसिनल है, यहाँ पे क्लीव हो जाएगा, ठीक है. सो पर आयोडिक acid oxidizes, sorry, cleaves all vicinal dihydroxides. Beta, vicinal dihydroxides. Okay. So what does that mean? So abhi in case if it is making an cleavage, कैसे होगा एक बार मैं आपको एक एग्जाम्पल के थ्रू बताता हूँ. सपोज लेट अस इमेजिन यहाँ पे OH 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 ऐसे लगातार 4 OH है, और यहाँ पर CH3 है, और यहाँ पे CH3 है, बाकी सब H H H H. Now if you treat that with HiO4, इसको कैसे सोचना चाहिए? ऐसे सोचो कि पहले ये विसिनल है, यहाँ पे मैंने ब्रेक किया, okay? As soon as you break, give one OH to above carbon and one OH to below carbon. उसके बाद फिर दोनों के बीच में विसिनल है. So here in the vicinal, again give one OH to above carbon, one OH to below carbon. Again there is vicinal, so you will give one OH to above carbon, one OH to below carbon, and finally it is stop. Okay. Now you see what is the final products which are on this form. So first, if you see this one here, it is CH3, C double bond O. Okay. There are two OH groups here, OH, OH and H. This is how it is. So two OH groups on one carbon won't be stable, so it will become aldehyde. So CH3, CHO. Next, see this carbon. This carbon, it has carbon, one hydrogen and three OH groups. Three OH groups, इसमें से one water molecule आ जाएगा, तो क्या बन जाएगा ये acid. Same thing, this will also is becoming acid, right? Last one is also becoming aldehyde, CH3, CHO. So what is the final product which you will have on reaction with HiO4 is 2 moles of CH3CHO plus 2 moles of HCOOH. This is the final product you will have. Is this clear, beta? Yeah. So per iodic acid का ये simple short way है समझने के लिए. So wherever per iodic acid is coming on the vicinal positions, always keep on distributing OH groups. Yeah. And just count the number of OH and accordingly find out where the cleavage happens. Now sometimes an already aldehyde would be mentioned. Suppose if you have, there is an aldehyde already mentioned like Ca. Suppose in this case, okay, I'll take a case of glucose itself, CHO. Okay, this is the structure of glucose, H H OH H, okay, OH H and OH H and CH2OH. This is glucose. Okay, glucose, when we treat that with HiO4, how does this take place? करेक्ट. सो फर्स्ट नीचे से स्टार्ट करते हैं हम लोग. नीचे से ये विसिनल है, ब्रेक करेंगे, OH OH दे देंगे. यहाँ पे फिर विसिनल है, यहाँ पे OH और OH दे देंगे, राइट। यहाँ पे फिर विसिनल है, OH और OH दे देंगे, फिर विसिनल है, यहाँ पे OH और OH दे देंगे. Now here you can always imagine this CHO, what I am writing here, see. You can always imagine this CHO which I am writing here, got it, as if, because ये CHO तो आया दो OH group से ही है ना, so it has two OH groups and H, so this is also like a vicinal position, understood. So इसको भी एक OH इधर एक OH इधर दे दिया, ठीक है. So therefore now in this case, see the top one is becoming acid HCOOH, second one is also becoming acid HCOOH, third one is also becoming acid HCOOH, fourth one is also becoming acid HCOOH, fifth one is becoming acid HCOOH, and the last one is only becoming aldehyde HCHO. Okay, so in fact this is the final reaction which will have 5 moles of HCOOH प्लस 1 मोल ऑफ HCHO. ये बहुत स्टैंडर्ड जेई एडवांस क्वेश्चन है इंटीजर टाइप, जहाँ पे पूछा जाता है इन एनी गिवन ई मॉलिक्यूल हाउ मेनी मोल्स ऑफ फॉर्मिक एसिड आर कमिंग. So I guess you can do this kind of questions now, right? So basically we are using double bond here as an application. कि डबल बॉन्ड से हमने पहले डायोल्स बनाया, राइट, विसिनल डायोल्स बनाया एंड विसिनल डायोल्स को ऑक्सीडाइज किया. ओके, right. So it has a name, this particular oxidation has a name, but I don't think that name and all is important for here. So just need to know how the reaction is taking place. I hope you can do that now, right? So far the oxidation which we have done is with KMnO4 or HiO4. Okay. Now the oxidation which we have to do is by ozonolysis. Ozonolysis. Okay. Okay. Ozonolysis oxidation happens in two ways. One is reductive ozonolysis. Reductive ozonolysis. The other one is oxidative ozonolysis. Oxidative ozonolysis. Okay. So O3 and heat is common in both of them. O3 and heat. Okay. Reductive में क्या होगा? Either you will take zinc or you will take Me2S or you will take molybdenum oxide, something like this. Okay, here you will directly take it as water or sometimes you will take it as peroxide. That will give oxidative ozonolysis. Okay, simple. Here think this way, ozonolysis में O3 will split into 3 moles of nascent oxygen. ऐसे सोचो, यहाँ पे भी every 1 mole of O3 will split into 3 moles of nascent oxygen, जिसमें से 2 moles, 2 nascent oxygens with connect with carbon, this will connect to carbon, and one more nascent oxygen which is left will be treated with something like zinc and ZnO will become. समझ में आया? So this is an half oxidation, complete oxidation नहीं हो रहा है, बट यहाँ पे कैसा है, फर्स्ट इसमें से 2 nascent oxygens will be used to connect carbon, correct, but still one nascent oxygen will be left which will go for further oxidation. Are you getting this, beta? Okay. So between the difference between reductive and ozonolysis, reductive and oxidative ozonolysis, दोनों में ऑक्सीडेशन ही हो रहा है. रिडक्शन में, रिडक्टिव ओजोनोलिसिस में एक पोजीशन, एक पॉइंट के बाद रुक जाता है, बट इन द केस ऑफ ऑक्सीडेटिव ओजोनोलिसिस एक पॉइंट के बाद फिर से ऑक्सीडाइज होने लगी. ओके, see, let me show you what is the overall reaction here. See, overall reaction is this: wherever you have double bond C, double bond O here, in the presence of O3 and heat, O3 एंड हीट, ये स्टेप कॉमन है। सो पहले ये टूटेगा, डबल बॉन्ड O बनेगा इस तरफ, ये भी टूटेगा, डबल बॉन्ड O बनेगा इस तरफ, और एक नेसेंट ऑक्सीजन बाहर आएगा। यहाँ तक कॉमन है, ठीक है। देखो 2 ऑक्सीजन कनेक्ट हो गए कार्बन को और एक नेसेंट ऑक्सीजन निकला, यही तो बताया था हमने, राइट। सो इफ इट इज reductive ozonolysis, I'll write it as RO, reductive ozonolysis, like zinc will be there, it will take away Zn and it will become ZnO. Okay, Me2S will be there, react with nascent oxygen, it will become DMSO, dimethyl sulfonyl oxide. Okay, but if it is oxidative ozonolysis, it will go for further oxidation. So first step is common, but after that whether the reaction should further happen or not, it depends upon you going for oxidative ozonolysis or reductive ozonolysis. Okay, so same steps how we have done earlier. First we will learn how to get the products, then we'll go into the mechanism of it. Okay, so for starting with simple alkenes, C double bond CH2 double bond CH2 with O3 and heat. So first you break the bond, CH2 double bond O plus O CH2 plus nascent oxygen, यहाँ तक आ गया. Suppose if it is in the presence of zinc, correct, the reaction will still end here itself, will end here itself to form this. Okay, if it is oxidative ozonolysis, further oxidation will happen and you will get HC double bond O and OH will be formed. Okay, got it. Now if you see, there are no more nascent oxygens to oxidize this oxygen also. यहाँ पे ये ऑक्सीजन को ऑक्सीडाइज करने के लिए और nascent oxygens नहीं है ना, तो ये एसिड के पास ही रुक जाएगा. दिस इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अनलाइक अर्लियर केस, वहाँ पे nascent oxygens इतने थे कि वो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड तक लेके जाएगा. Okay, but in ozonolysis it will end only at acids. ठीक है, that point is clear beta. So you'll get 2 moles of this acids. Okay, so second case, if you have CH3 CH double bond CH2, I do O3 and heat, same thing, you break it, you'll get this as CH3 CH double bond O plus H C double bond O and H. So the two things which are formed with nascent oxygen. If it is reductive ozonolysis, ये यहीं पे end हो जाएगा, product will be CH3CHO plus HCHO. If it is oxidative ozonolysis, it would form CH3COOH plus HCOOH, एसिड तक लेके जाओ. कीटोन रहेगा तो कीटोन रिएक्ट नहीं होता है. So that is the next reaction which I'll write it down. So suppose if you have double bond this way on ozonolysis O3 and heat, so first I'll get this double bond which is ketone, the other one is CH3CHO. Okay, so this is reductive ozonolysis, same product, no change. But if it is oxidative ozonolysis, it would become, ketone won't change, but this would become acid, CH3COOH. I guess this point is clear, right? सो रिडक्टिव ओजोनोलिसिस में क्या हो रहा है, ऑक्सीडेटिव ओजोनोलिसिस में क्या हो रहा है, ये समझना जरूरी है. नाउ दिस इज हाउ यू कैन सी इट इन डबल बॉन्ड्स. व्हाट इफ यू हैव ट्रिपल बॉन्ड्स इन alkynes? In alkynes, how this reaction takes place, let's see. In alkynes, we had CH triple bond CH, and that on ozonolysis O3 and heat, okay, it would form C double bond O. एक बॉन्ड वैसे ही रुक जाएगा H. So this is plus nascent oxygen which you have, and this is oxidative reductive ozonolysis. Reductive ozonolysis will end here only. So we'll have H C double bond O C double bond O H. But if it is oxidative ozonolysis, the bond will break and this will become an acid of 2 moles. Okay, guess this is clear. Right. Second, if you have CH3, CH3, C triple bond CH, we have O3 and heat. So we'll get first CH3, C double bond O, C double bond OH. Okay, reductive ozonolysis, nothing will happen, वहीं पे रुक जाएगा. If it is oxidative ozonolysis, you will get CH3, C double bond O, OH. Okay, now this time बेटा इसको ध्यान देना, इस बार है ना, इसमें सिर्फ एक ही हाइड्रोजन है, तो उसको अगर मैं OH से रिप्लेस कर दूंगा तो वो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड बन जाएगा ना. सो इन दिस केस इट विल गो अप टू कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. ओके, I think this point is clear now. So that's the kind of reactions which you will see it in alkynes. Okay, so now let us come to mechanism, how the mechanism happens in ozonolysis. Right, so what you are seeing is, first we'll see it in double bonds, double bond C this way. You have O minus oxygen, double bond O. Okay, with plus and minus, this is the ozone. So from ozone, this O minus will attack here, this pi will attack on this oxygen, lone pair will transfer here. So as soon as that is done, we'll get this as carbon, carbon with oxygen, oxygen and another oxygen this way. Okay. So this intermediate which is forming is what we call it as molozonoid. So it is called molozonoid. And molozonoid will again break into molecule here, right? So how that does will break here, ये कार्बन कार्बन बॉन्ड ब्रेक हो जाएगा, यहाँ पे डबल बॉन्ड आ जाएगा और ये O माइनस की तरह टूट जाएगा. सो आई विल गेट दिस एज C डबल बॉन्ड O प्लस C with O and O minus with this carbon getting plus. This is how it is. Okay, so the lone pair present on this oxygen will again attack on this carbon, the minus will attack again on this carbon. So this time you can see it appears like ऑक्सीजन और कार्बन के बीच में एक बॉन्ड आ गया है और नीचे ऑक्सीजन और ऑक्सीजन के बीच में और एक बॉन्ड ऐसे आ गया. So this formation what you have is what we call it as ozonoid, called ozonoid. So once the ozonoid is formed, on heating the ozonoid, this will break in this particular fashion. You see, ये ऐसे break हो जाएगा इधर से. Okay, so you can see that nascent oxygen is coming, so we can get this C double bond O plus another C double bond O plus nascent oxygen. So that's how the nascent oxygen is created. So till this point everything is same. If it is reductive ozonolysis, the zinc will react with nascent oxygen and it will become ZnO. Is this clear, beta? In the triple bond same thing would happen, but bond टूटेगा नहीं, बीच में जो कार्बन कार्बन का बॉन्ड है वो टूटेगा नहीं, बाकी सब सेम. Okay, let me take few examples here now. Suppose if it were asked benzene which has a double bond here and that is going for ozonolysis, O3, Zn and H2O. Okay, yeah, 1 second, go down now, क्या परेशान कर रहे हो? Go down. So see, on ozonolysis here, we'll be breaking this bond here. So therefore we will get this as benzene form here, right, with double bond OH, plus there is a single carbon, so it will become this. Okay beta. Normally when double bond is outside, we do not break the benzene double bonds, but if benzene if double bonds are only present in benzene, then we have to break that. Okay, now you will break at all the positions here. So one double bond here, one double bond here, one double bond here. Okay, on breaking all these double bonds, so what do we get? Sorry, what do we get here? Right, we'll get this as CH3, C double bond O, C double bond O, H. Another one is CHO, CHO of 2 moles. Can you see that? This is the reductive ozonolysis of this. Okay. Come again? No, 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 not after that. No. Okay. So when it is been asked if there is a double bond or a triple bond outside the benzene, you only do that and do not disturb benzene. Suppose if xylene is given, like this is orthoxylene. Okay. Now in orthoxylene, actually we will have two canonicals, and two canonicals will give you different products. Suppose if at all I write it this way, this will give you different products. If at all, sorry, this way, if at all I write it this way, this will give you different products. Okay, so both need to be considered in that case. So when you treat that with, ozone, zinc and H2O this way, you will get CH3, C double bond O, C double bond O, CH3 plus CHO, CHO, which is, okay, glyoxal, right, and another product which we'll get is CH3, C double bond O, C double bond O, H. So instead of two products, actually you will get three products here, three types of products, not total moles. Okay, I hope this is clear better. Right, so that's about ozonolysis. Okay, so the last type of oxidation is an allylic oxidation. So allylic oxidation, and allylic oxidation is done by selenium dioxide. Okay, very specific reagent, does only allylic position. So that means if you have a double bond like this plus, and I treat this with SeO2 and heat, I will get an alcohol form here like this. Okay, this is how the reaction takes place. See how the mechanism is. Suppose if you have hydrogen here with double bond, and selenium dioxide is Se double bond O this way. Okay, so the pi will attack here on the selenium part, and this oxygen will take away this hydrogen. So you will get this as, okay, double and as soon as this oxygen takes place, this bond is broken, carbon hydrogen bond is broken, and double bond moves to this carbon. This is the way double bond has moved, and here we'll have selenium with OH and double bond O. Okay, so again this double bond O lone pair will attack here. This double bond moves back to this position. Selenium will remove from this point. So I will get this as double bond here with oxygen, selenium and OH. Okay. After this, then hydrolysis is to be done. On hydrolysis, we will get this back as OH with double bond, plus OH and SCOH twice. This is what is formed. Okay बेटा, अब देखो इसको अच्छे से ध्यान दो. सपोज इफ देर इज एन आइसोटोपिक कार्बन, ये कार्बन अगर आइसोटोपिक है, देखो तो वो यही कार्बन है, ठीक है. उसके बाद ये कार्बन है और उसके बाद ये कार्बन है. सो देखो अच्छे से देखो तो डबल बॉन्ड एक्चुअली मूव हो चुका है ना. सो द फर्स्ट पोजीशन यहाँ पर है, करेक्ट. सो उसी कार्बन पे आया ना फिर से, पहले डबल बॉन्ड मूव हुआ था, ओके, फिर डबल बॉन्ड अपने वापस पोजीशन पे चला गया और OH उसी पोजीशन पे आके अटैच हो गया. I guess that is clear. Yeah. Okay. So that ends with our what do you say, alkenes beta. Okay. So one second.